Are you a newbie BT Battles player? Yeah? Well, then this video is for you. A general advice that new players get is to watch YouTubers play BT Battles and just copy their strategies. This is amazing advice, but certain towers and strategies used on the highest level of gameplay do not translate well to lower levels. Some towers are only good if you know what you're doing, but others are always good. So here's the top 5 list of towers new players should stay away from. So on number 5 we have the Monkey Ace. The Monkey Ace has been a pro player favorite for a very long time. It fell off a bit out of the meta recently, but the reason why it's so good is the ODS upgrade, Operation Darkstorm. This is the main upgrade that people use, and it does amazing damage in the mid game or against a Moab. But as you can see, the ace just moves around. You can select its path, you can see in the bottom left, and you can change it to whatever fits the map. And that's where ace stops for the average player. If you're a good player, you can change the pathing to manipulate the path even further. Look at that. I just made the ace stay on top. This is the top circle. He goes to a circle on the right, the circle on the left, at the bottom, and there's way more to it. And pro players can basically almost have the ace be follow touch or follow your mouse. And ace is incredibly strong if you can do that. If you cannot do that, then ace might be a bit inconsistent for you, because maybe the ace is at the top attacking here when the balloons are already at the bottom, and that it isn't really doing damage where it's supposed to damage. Another reason why ace is not for new players is that most ace strategies in the late game rely on the ground zero ability. How do you use the ground zero ability? Well, you upgrade it, you use the ability, then you sell it, get another one, use the ability, get another one. You just keep doing this as fast as possible. This requires very high level of micro. If you can't do 40 abilities a minute, at least stay away from ace. It's not for you. Like, you might be able to get it to work till the late game, but when you make it to the late game, your ace strategy is gonna die 4 rounds earlier than it's supposed to. And if your strategy dies 4 rounds earlier than what it's supposed to do, then you better off going many other strategies. So yeah, that's number 5 spot, the ace. Bit controversial for number 4. I think a lot of pro players would argue that the mortar should be behind the ace, but hear me out. Most mortar strategies have signal flare as the only cam detection. But what most bad players do is they aim it like this, and then they're complaining that they're not defending all the pink balloons. Camo pink balloons, look at this. A couple of them are getting by, like, oh, mortar isn't full cam detection. It is, you just have to aim it a bit better. But they don't aim it better, and then they say mortar is bad and doesn't defend camos when it really does. If you aim it more here, see the explosion? It still covers the entire bend. People place it just way too far up in the bend when you're supposed to place it more in the middle. And now it should defend everything. No leaks, except, well, at least no camo leaks. So that's one part of the mortar. Another part of mortar is one of mortar's strength is that you can target it wherever you want it to be. It has full map range, but bad players, new players, don't do that. They just pop it down, let it do its thing, and then don't change its targeting. When pro players get some more mortars, like I have 3 mortars here, all of them are attacking. So now we're gonna get all of them attack here, and I'm gonna all of them attack here, and you have to manage this during the game while you're getting rushed. And Maybe you also have to change targeting of another tower in the meantime, and you need this type of micro to be cost efficient in the mid game with Mortar. If you like with all towers, targeting is important, but if you don't utilize Mortar's full map range properly, then you're not using its strengths, and that's not really a point using it if you can't utilize its strengths. And if you go to the late game, so Mortar also has an ability that you can micro, but it's a lot easier than Ace. It's more timing than fast microing, because the Mortar style only works for half a second on CMGs, and if you want to style those as much as possible, you have to micro it very fast. But people generally tend to not focus on the ZMGs, but focus on the ZMG insights, specifically the Moabs, because the Moabs are getting started for a really long time, and the Moabs in the late game when ramping kicks in, like 36, Moabs are pretty fast. Just look how fast they are already. But with Mortar style, you just Mortar style it. Let's ignore the ceramics for a bit, and then use the next one only when the Moabs getting unstyled, because Mortar style doesn't overlap. If you use it twice, it doesn't reset the stun. So it's more about timing. So you don't ability doesn't need to be that fast, but you do need good timing. And if you don't have this knowledge about needing timing, then Mortar style is going to be extremely inefficient for you when using it. So definitely something you should be aware of and probably stay away from if you don't play this game that often. Next tower on the list is the Dartling gun. So, difficult thing about the Dartling, you have to aim it yourself the entire time. Like you place a ninja, it does stuff. Dartling, you place it down, it doesn't do stuff. You have to aim it all the time. Is that difficult? For a new player, yeah, definitely. Another difficult thing about the Dartling is, like, farm is always good, and I don't can think of a single Dartling strategy. Okay, maybe Dartling Cobra Boomer, but you always want to use farm, and Dartling is no exception. But when you have farm, you have to upgrade the farm, and when you upgrade the farm, let's say if the farm's here, when you click to upgrade, the Dartling is aiming away, which could be, and that means you're not aiming at the rush, which is very difficult to manage. For every type of player, especially newer players. Another problem is newer players don't have farmers. And if you don't have farmers, that means you have to constantly collect the bananas. And while you collect the bananas, you're not aiming at the balloons. So if you can't afford farmers, don't use Dartling. It's pretty painful, and you're gonna lose out on bananas or lose out on a lot of cost efficiency on the Dartling by all the darts is missing. But that's not all, because its aiming is still pretty straight away. It reacts very fast. Another thing you need to do with Dartling, especially with Dartling Bomb and Dartling Ice, is in the mid game that you're gonna have with Bomb you can have zebras and blacks, and with Ice you can have zebras and ice, that the ice and Bomb respectively can't pop. So with the Dartling you have to pop all of the whites and zebras before it reaches the Bomb or Ice tower, so they can do their job. Also, these towers don't affect the camo, so you have to pop the whites, zebras and blacks or whatever, and the camos. So you have to do really very precise aiming, and maybe you have to buy defense and upgrade stuff for aiming the Dartling. Dartling is very, very difficult to use. Like, it's a big step up from the number 4 and number 5 spots. And arguably it's the most difficult tower to use, but the other ones on Exxon Leagues are also very difficult. So next one is Heli. I'd say I could place Heli in number 3, but Heli has the biggest noob trap in the game. It has an upgrade called Pursuit. So when should you use Pursuit? A, all the time. B, sometimes. Maybe when you got an Apache. C, never. It's C. Don't ever use use fucking Pursuit. It's so bad. Like, first of all, it doesn't work with Racer Voters. It also doesn't work with Downdraft. Look at the balloons. It's not Downdraft and Racer Voters are supposed to be on top of the balloon at all times. For the majority of the rush, it was not aiming on top of the balloons. Also notice how it then aimed the first balloons at the end. It also just completely forgot about the balloons it was supposed to aim, target and let them through. Like, it's abysmal with the 30s, and even with the Apaches, where it isn't that bad. It does the same thing. Sometimes I just forget some ceramics in a late game, and all of your Apaches are sitting here on Pursuit, aiming down some Moabs and BFBs, and the ceramics go straight through here. First of all, don't buy Pursuit unless you're going for Racer Voters straight away. It's a waste of money. Second of all, when you get it, don't put your Darkling on Pursuit. Okay, next difficult thing with Heli is it moves a bit slower compared to Darkling. You could get bigger jets, but you don't quite have it still is a bit of input delay. If you want to hit some balloons at the front and then hit some balloons at the back, it does take a second for it to go there. When you have Darkling, you can react very fast. So you do a lot more planning ahead of time with Heli. It's also an advantage with farms, because if you busy bomb balloons here, you can quickly upgrade your farm, and the Heli is still going to stay on the path by the time you upgrade it and move it back, because it moves slower. But overall, I'd say Heli is very difficult to manage. The most popular Heli strat, here have Ice, and I already explained it with Darkling. And it's the same principle. You have to pop every single white and zebra balloon before it reaches the ice, so that the ice can do the damage. Another difficult thing with Heli Ice is, well, let's talk about it now. Number 1, Ice Tower. So in the late game with Heli Ice, you rely a lot on damage for cleanup with ice shards. So what you need to do with Heli and Ice, it works together. You need to pop the balloons to start an ice shard chain, but you don't want to waste damage, and so you don't want damage on the ceramics and stuff. You also don't want to put too much damage on the Moabs, because the ice shards are going to take care of the Moabs. But if you put too little damage on the Moabs, then they won't pop, and then your ice shard chain dies. So it's very difficult to optimize ice shards late game, even though ice shards are absolutely insane, and any vibe or strategy that has ice in it absolutely needs ice shards in a late game, or else it will not survive. It's such a big aspect, and make the difference between making ice shard work and letting it and having it do nothing is in the details. Ice is a difficult tower to use for beginners, and that's just the late game part. So if you can make that work late game, then you're just gonna die instantly. But you're not even gonna make it to the late game unless you know how to double or even triple ice. So here I have a 2-2 ice. It's pretty cheap. It don't even need to be 2-2. It needs to be like, you have like a 2-0 ice. It has a lot of pairs, so it is really good against swoop balloons. The problem is, it's really bad against fast balloons. Let me just get rid of the Apache. See how few balloons it catches right now? Most balloons are going past. So the solution for that is double icing. Let me just get some balloons in here. Oh. Yeah, that didn't work out. Let's just send like around 5. So I can actually time the ice tower a bit. So you get one ice tower, and they get the second one with different timing, and now it's catching the balloons way better. Look at how much cleaner it gets the green balloons here when I place down the second ice. The second ice tower with different timing is key to making ice work in both early and mid game. If you don't know how to do the stack, even if you do know how to do it but you mess it up, you need to sell the ice tower again and place it again. Ice timing is everything. And the difficult thing with ice timing is ice is not your only tower. Two popular strategies with ice are heli, which you also have to do the ice timing while microing your heli around the map, or it's less popular, but dartling ice, where you also have to aim down the whites and zebras. You have to do ice timing and popping the whites and zebras at the same time, because ice does nothing as white and zebras. Another huge weakness. Like, it's so cost efficient, it is so incredibly good in pro level, but you need everything work around it, or else it's not gonna do absolutely nothing. Also, it doesn't pop camos unless you get the forward to left side. Stay away from ice as a beginner. So yeah, that's the video, and yeah, but some of the most difficult strategies are that your favorite YouTubers use are like heli ice. That is actually difficult to pull off. Don't use it. Use something easier. Use glue. Glue is super easy to use. Wizard could be is easy to use. Deck is beginner friendly. Dart is even somewhat beginner friendly. Don't use ice. So yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.